The global popularity of Korean cars stands in stark contrast to the subdued state of the Chinese market. Indeed, Korean car sales in China have plummeted from a peak of 1.14 million in 2016 to 385,000. Japanese cars, sharing a similar fate with their Korean counterparts, have seen major brands like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan announce 2023 sales data for China. Toyota recorded monthly sales of 110,000 vehicles, a year-on-year decrease of 23.5%. Honda's monthly sales were 64,000 vehicles, down 56.2% year-on-year, and Nissan reported monthly sales of 47,500 vehicles, reflecting a 64.4% year-on-year decrease. Just as the Japanese and Korean entertainment industries once sparked a wave of pop culture in China, Japanese and Korean cars also experienced a bright moment in the Chinese market. However, this was short-lived, and Chinese consumers soon abandoned Japanese and Korean cars. Faced with the impressive performance of China's domestic new energy vehicles, Japanese and Korean executives have even become envious. Early this year, Yang Honghai, COO of Kia, vented his frustration on his personal social media account, accusing BYD of employing internet trolls to discredit Kia Motors. Many speculate that Yang Honghai's outburst was a calculated move to generate exposure for the launch of the new Kia K3. After all, their primary goal now is to reverse the unfavorable situation as quickly as possible. So, why have Japanese and Korean cars, once extremely popular in China, been gradually forsaken by the Chinese market? Why are Korean car companies so irate with BYD? Well, that's exactly what we're going to delve into. Let's get started. Japanese cars have a profound impact on China's auto industry. As early as the 1960s, Japanese cars entered China. In 1980, China's reform and opening up began, and Japanese car companies flocked to China one after another. For more than 20 years, the production and sales of Japanese automobiles have maintained a continuous growth trend for a long time, and various models have long dominated the sales rankings. In 2020, the market share of Japanese cars peaked at 23.1%. In 2021, Japanese cars share 20.6% of the market, tied with German cars for first place. Although Korean cars entered China late, they have also achieved good results in China. On October 18, 2002, South Korea's Hyundai Motor Group officially entered the Chinese market. In 2015, the cumulative production and sales of Korean cars exceeded 7 million, and then in 2016, the annual sales of Beijing Hyundai 1.14 million, and Dongfeng Ueda Kia 650,000 hit a record high in sales. Why did Japanese cars and Korean cars have such brilliant performance? They have common characteristics: cost-effective, fuel-efficient, and good product strength. It has accurately grasped the needs of China's huge customer base and firmly occupied the market share of mid-end cars. However, in those years, China's domestic auto brands were basically in the initial stage of development. Their vehicle products were insufficient, they had no sense of design, and they relied on low prices to win. But times have changed. What we see now is a completely different situation. On the whole, the decline of Japanese and Korean cars in China is inevitable, and the reasons are complex. First, they don't pay much attention to the Chinese market. This is most evident in Korean cars. In terms of treating the Chinese market, the Koreans do have some contempt. Taking products as an example, most multinational car companies will deliberately consider the preferences of Chinese consumers. However, most Korean car companies directly import global models and rarely make targeted improvements. Although Japanese car companies seem to attach importance to the Chinese market on the surface, they have been constantly catering to the so-called cost-effective by reducing materials. This has led to the long-term perception of Japanese cars with low safety performance and rough interiors. This kind of style can get dividends in the initial stage of China's auto market. But when the level of Chinese consumers gradually improves, they will be abandoned by the market. Second, due to geopolitical issues, there is a gap between Chinese consumers and Japanese and Korean car companies. The THAAD incident in 2017 was an important event in the relationship between China and South Korea. The US THAAD medium and long-range intercontinental missile defense radar system entered South Korea, and South Korea deployed it in spite of China's opposition, causing tension in Sino-South Korean relations. The sales of Korean cars in China were directly affected by this incident. In March 2017, the sales of Korean cars in the Chinese market were extremely ugly. Hyundai Motor fell 44.3% year-on-year, and Kia Motors plummeted 68.8%. The sales performance of Japanese cars in China will also be affected by the complicated historical issues between the two countries. As the commodity with the highest price in household consumption after real estate, consumers will be affected by very complex factors when purchasing, among which the key point is the issue of brand ownership and political relations. In addition, the increasingly fierce market competition and the superimposed impact of the epidemic have led to a global economic downturn, and the auto industry has experienced varying degrees of decline. These are all objective factors for the sharp decline in sales of Japanese and Korean cars in China. Of course, the core and deadliest direct reason is China's rapid advancement in the field of new energy electric vehicles. For a long time, China has always used new energy vehicles to bypass the idea of fuel vehicle technology. In the context of the global goal of achieving carbon emissions, carbon peaking, and carbon neutrality, the investment in the field of new energy electric vehicles has become more determined. It is equivalent to realizing overtaking on curves in the automotive industry by changing the technical route. A large number of companies such as BYD, NIO, and CATL have grown rapidly under the guidance of policies and the support of consumers' consumption preferences. In contrast, traditional cars have experienced decades of technological stagnation and have been unable to provide consumers with new experience for a long time. New energy vehicles have substantially subverted the traditional logic of the automotive sector. The core technology of a car is no longer the engine and fuel tank system, but chips, battery boards, battery life, and electronic systems. For the low-end, fuel-efficient mid-range models of the Japanese and Korean models, the brands of the new energy era are fully capable of replacing Japanese, Korean, and even other German and French models. Among the top 20 new energy passenger car sales in the world in 2022, 14 Chinese models are on the list. Among them, the 6 models of BYD are almost all in the price range of 100,000 to 300,000. The 2 models of GAC Aeon are also mid-range models that are mainly priced at 100,000 to 200,000. For vehicles with the same configuration level, the price of Chinese cars is more affordable. Moreover, Chinese domestic cars have begun to continuously develop high-end models and even luxury models, which are on par with BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Volvo, Cadillac and other brands, further raising the overall brand level of Chinese domestic cars. Therefore, in the wave of new technology development in China's auto industry, Japanese and Korean car companies have been belatedly aware of it and gradually lost their leading positions in the market. A sharp decline in product share is an inevitable trend. However, despite the loss of the huge Chinese market, the global sales of Japanese and Korean brands have not been greatly affected. Globalization is the main direction of Korean car companies. The layout of Japanese and Korean auto companies in the global market for decades is still an advantage that Chinese auto companies cannot match. Okay, that's all for today. Do you want to learn about more auto stories? Please keep following our channel and like our videos. See you.